Well, a very good evening to you. You are just in time for Channel 1 News Hour on a day when shock and grief engulfed a village in Kiambu County following the murder of at least four family members after a father killed his 3 children and his wife, and also a situation that was witnessed here in Nairobi where a man murdered his wife before committing suicide.
And obviously this comes 2 months after yet another very brazen attack in the same area in Thika when a man wiped out his entire family and later committing suicide. And of course this becoming part of a statistics that you have to tell the country every night. But on our big question tonight, we seek to engage you on the same matter, and we are asking you what should be done to address the rising cases of familicide. What should be done to address the rising cases of familicide, or what you would call violence in families that ends up tragically? What should be done to ensure that there is a stoppage on the same? 22162 is our SMS line. On Twitter at KBC Channel 1, at JCuria, at Katoachenga. Obviously, remember to tell us who you are and where you're watching us from. We'll be sampling them in the course of this bulletin as well as at the tail end of this newscast.
But for now, let's focus on what's also coming up on Channel 1 News Hour in the highlights.
Ukiona bwana anakwambia atakuchapa, toka uende. Juu mlipotana mkiwa wazima. Juu utakufa uache watoto wako. Na utacha mwanaume bado anatafuta bibi mwingine nje. Umekufa nini?
Innocent blood wiped out, man kills his entire family under mysterious circumstances in Thika.
As another kills his wife before committing suicide in Nairobi.
Moving to cement bilateral ties.
President Uhuru Kenyatta holds talks with visiting Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in Nairobi.
And warning from the meteorological department.
Heavy rains to sweep through the Kenyan coastline beginning tonight. Our sign language interpreter this night is Steve Dunda. My name is John Jacob Curia.
And my name is Catherine Achenga.
Let's begin this bulletin with news of the shock, disbelief and tears have engulfed Maruroi village in Kiambu County after a man allegedly killed his entire family in a disturbing incident.
Now the man is alleged to have strangled his wife and 3 children to death.
In yet another shocking incident in Nairobi's Dandora estate, a man is reported to have slashed his wife to death before committing suicide. Our
reporter Ron Clifford brings us details of the tragedies that have left more questions than answers as what could have led the supposed protectors to turn predators and prey on their own family.
The pain of loss. It is at this home that the life of a 35-year-old mother and her 3 children were cut short in the most tragic manner in the wee hours of Monday morning. Neighbors only left to speculate at the horror the mother and her children, aged between 6 and 14 years, went through at the hands of the man they trusted as a husband and a father.
Kusikia tunasikia hapa kwa sababu sisi haturarangi huko, lakini ile kitu tunajua huyo mama hasora kama sisi, na mimi nimemjua kama kufanyishana kazi na yeye mali kwingi. Nataka kusema ya kwamba mwanamke ukiona bwana anakwambia atakuchapa, toka uende. Juu mlipotana mkiwa wazima. Juu utakufa uache watoto wako. Na utacha mwanaume bado anatafuta bibi mwingine nje. Umekufa nini?
The suspect is alleged to be a stepfather to the 3 children, but the biological father of a 2-year-old child. The 2-year-old child, believed to be his son, was found unharmed. Neighbors allege the couple has been facing domestic problems.
Yakaniambia mimi mama Shane mambo ya wanaume mimi sitaki. Nini baba Leon tumeletana naye juzi. Amekuwa akinisumbua, hata ananiletea aibu ndogo ndogo mbele ya watoto, mpaka ani wangu alimwambia ani sasa ni first born wake. Alimwambia nini akichapa mama yake usiaiguza mama yangu. Juu mama yangu kwenye amenitoa.
The suspect is now a fugitive of the law after he fled the scene. Police have since launched investigations into the incident, calling on the public to give information on the whereabouts of the suspect. And as Marurui villagers wonder at the tragic deaths in Nairobi, a man is reported to have slashed his wife to death in Molem Estate following a domestic squabble.
Ni kitu ambacho haiwezi kueleweka kwa sababu tumepata wote mwanaume ameanguka hapo kwa kiti na mke wake hapo chini kwa mchanga. So inaonekana kama ni suicide ambao hatuwezi jua, lakini mwanaume anaonekana ni kama yeye alikuwa na mambo, sababu mke amekatakatwa kwa kiasi mpaka amekufa.
The 46-year-old man killed his 48-year-old wife before consuming poison, resulting in his death.
Nikaa walikuwa wanabishana kidogo juu mwanaume inasemekana alikuwa mrevi. Mwanaume ndiye aliua mwanamke.
Police have since launched investigations into the deaths. Their 23-year-old son says he did not hear any commotion but found his parents lying dead in the house. Reporting for Channel 1 News Hour, I'm Ron Cliff.
That story is the basis of a big question tonight, of course stemming from those details you see there from Thika as well as from Dodora, and we're asking you what should be done to address the rising cases of familicide. What should be done to address the rising cases of familicide?
Well, the question is right there on your screen. The SMS line to interact with us is 22162. Let us know who you are and where you're texting us from. On social media, you can talk to us on Twitter at KBC Channel 1, my Twitter handle at Kato Achenga, and for John at J Curia. What should be done to address the rising cases of familicide? That is the killings within the family.
Quite a sad story.
Indeed.
But of course, we'll be looking at what your proposed solutions really are. Continue speaking to us. But for now, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed have called for an end to partisan interests derailing the quest for peace in Somalia.
Now, the leaders called for more funding for AMISOM to help bolster the fight against the Al-Shabaab terror group in the Horn of Africa.
The two leaders who held talks at State House in Nairobi pledged to strengthen cross-border cooperation in socio-economic activities.
Kenya is moving with speed to endear herself to Ethiopia's new regime. A 19-gun salute in honor of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali, who ascended to Ethiopia's political apex days after the resignation of Haile Mariam Desalegn. Kenya's diplomatic engagements with Ethiopia has in the recent years been graced by the search for lasting peace in South Sudan and Somalia. The two countries are great contributors to the African Union mission to Somalia, where their armies are actively engaged in efforts to weed out the Al-Shabaab terror gang. This engagement has, however, been met by a myriad of challenges, with the two leaders pointing accusing fingers to what they termed as dark forces opposed to peace in the region.
Both leaders noted that Al-Shabaab continues to pose significant threat to Somalia and the region. In this regard, they expressed concern at the continued lukewarm international support for Somalia, in particular the inadequate and unpredictable funding for AMISOM, which poses a threat to gains made thus far.
The two leaders also urged South Sudan to give progressive dialogue a chance so as to end the ongoing war that has left thousands dead and displaced millions.
In pledging their full commitment to the IGAD's mediation effort, they urged the leaders of South Sudan to place their interests of their people above their own in order to give peace a chance.
In the meeting held in Nairobi, the two leaders also discussed trade between Kenya and Ethiopia, pledging to strengthen cross-border cooperation in socio-economic activities such as the development of the Moyale Joint City and economic
to one another that this is just a beginning. We want to ensure that we meet regularly, we exchange regularly, and more importantly, that our meetings should not just be formal diplomatic sessions.
To boost business for Kenya Airways and Ethiopian Airlines, both sides agreed to strengthen the collaboration between the two national carriers.
This is the right bilateral, this is the right brotherly discussion we had, and we will translate all into practice. It's not something that we talk and forgot.
In the meantime, Ethiopia has pledged to support Kenya's bid for a non-permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council, where it currently sits alongside Cote d'Ivoire and Equatorial Guinea. For Channel 1 News, I am Edward Kabath.
To some unfortunate news where police have arrested a couple suspected to be key financiers of the Somali militia group Al-Shabaab.
Yasin Abdile Hussein, aka Abu Sumaya, and his wife Farton Mohammed Galed were apprehended in Eastleigh, Nairobi.
Now, the arrests come a day after 7 KDF soldiers were killed and 2 others sustained serious injuries following an attack in Dobley along the Kenya-Somalia border.
Wrongly for has the details.
Yasin Abdile Hussein, aka Abuya Sumeya, and his wife Fartun Mohammed Gulaid are in police custody. The two were arrested in Eastleigh, Nairobi following successful intelligence operation by the police. The couple is believed to be accomplices of a key Al-Shabaab operative in Mandera, Abdiweli Mohammed Gulaid, alias Abdulewi Kamaure, who was the mastermind of the November 2014 Mandera bus attack, where all Muslims on board were killed. Police have also released images of other terror suspects believed to be close allies of the couple. The 5 are Kuro Yaro Abdi, Muhammad Ahmed Yaro, Ahmed Dabar, Muhammad Mahmoud Abdullahi, and Adan Yusuf Sheikh. Meanwhile, 7 KDF soldiers have been killed and 2 others injured after the vehicle they were traveling in was blown up by an improvised explosive device believed to have been planted on the road. The wreckage of the car telling of the severity of the explosion on Sunday night that reduced a military Toyota Land Cruiser to a shell. The soldiers were reportedly heading to a military base in Dobley in Somalia, Lower Juba region, when the incident occurred. The Department of Defense is yet to issue a statement on the attack amid reports that the bodies of the deceased have been flown to Wajir.
Obviously, there is a condolence message from their commander-in-chief, that is President Uhuru Kenyatta, and will be telling you about the contents of his message in a few, but a little bit for now. Let's focus on the havoc that the rain continues to cause in the country.
Yeah, now the Kenya Meteorological Department is warning of heavy rainfall along the coastal strip from tonight to Thursday, the 10th of May 2018.
Now, the department says the region will experience rainfall of more than 50 millimeters in 24 hours, which may cause flooding in low-lying areas near the coastal line and water repositories.
Now, the warning came as the country grapples with floods that has displaced hundreds, mainly in the Tana River belt.
In an advisory, the Kenya Meteorological Department warned people living in the coastal region to be on the lookout for flash floods, according to the warning on Tuesday, 8th May 28. Heavy rainfall of more than 50 millimeters in 24 hours is expected offshore and in all the counties along the coastal strip. On Wednesday, 9th May and Thursday, 10th May, moderate rainfall of more than 30 millimeters in 24 hours is expected in the South Coast region. The warning says the rains are likely to continue, causing flooding in low-lying areas near the coastline and water repositories. The weatherman says flooding situation may worsen in some parts as water has been accumulating on the ground since last week. The warning came even as more than 10,000 households in Samburu were displaced by the ongoing floods. At least 15 people have lost their livelihoods in the county, while pastoralists have lost their livelihoods with the death of nearly 700 cattle. The area governor, Moses Lenonkulal, is now appealing to the residents to remain on high alert.
We've had also quite a number of landslides, particularly in the sites of Wamba, and we estimate that if the rains continue, we'll lose more lives. We've mobilized people to move to higher grounds, but we have very little to do in terms of the effects on livelihood, particularly on livestock.
The county boss further added that he is working with the national government through National Drought Management Authority to help affected families and offer relief supplies.
We've also partnered with some of our local NGOs, but we'll continue to appeal for more backup, particularly from the national government, from the mainstream international NGOs, for the affected families, particularly in terms of evacuation, in terms of support, and establishment of the structures.
Let's move on to other matters, and preparations for the Madaraka Day celebrations on the 1st of June are in top gear in Meru County, which is expected to host this year's event.
Now, Meru County government says it is ahead of schedule and the stadium will be completed within the next 3 weeks.
Meru County has been picked to host this year's Madaraka Day celebrations. It will be the 4th county to host the national event. And with this, the Kinoru Stadium has been undergoing renovations for the big day. Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho expressed confidence the facility will be ready in the next 21 days.
We are satisfied that the preparation of the seating area, the main dais, is okay. Like you are seeing, we are standing on top of grass that wasn't there 1 week ago, and we are satisfied that in the next 3 days this field will be full of grass.
Meru Governor Kiraitu Murungi says the event will coincide with the official opening of the stadium.
When this stadium is finally complete, and we are happy when the president comes on 1st of June, we shall expect him to officially open Kenoru Stadium. And thereafter, there will be a flurry of activities here, a lot of exciting matches in both national and international.
Elsewhere, Maendeleo Chop Chop Party leadership has urged Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka to shelve his 2022 presidential bid and instead back Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua for presidency.
Kalonzo Musyoka has been a mandate for quite some time, but at times come when we need to enjoy our democracy. We have given him support, and it is no harm if we change tact and we try another leader.
And political leaders drawn from Economic Freedom Party have supported the calls to amend the constitution to pave way for a 3-tier system of governance.
The clamor for constitutional amendment is the only dose that will correct the ills, the trials, and the tribulations this country has faced. Every 5 years, we have a problem in this country.
But speaking separately, Turkana Governor Josephat Nanok dismissed the calls, saying it was too early to change the constitution. Samson Kitavi, Channel 1 News.
And now also Islamic scholars in the country have come out strongly to oppose the notion that the religion supports female genital mutilation.
Led by the Deputy Chief Qadi Rashid Ali Umar, the scholars said that the people mostly mistake the cultural practices of the pastoralist communities who are mostly Muslim and assume the Islamic religion also supports the same.
According to the Muslim scholars, there is no law which allows the mutilation of any part of a human being, as Islam propagates the sanctity and dignity of the human being.
Islam prohibits, and it is impermissible for somebody to mutilate an organ of a person. On behalf of my friends here, the ulamas, the scholars, the Muslim scholars who are here around me, and the professionals, that we have not found any source that can be attributed to the Islamic law that a mutilation should be done to an organ of a human being. Leave that far, even you don't mutilate animals.
They claim that pastoralist communities borrowed the tradition from the Egyptians long time ago and amalgamated it to Islam.
Female genital mutilation has no basis in Islam. Whatsoever is being carried by Muslims or non-Muslims, especially the pastoralists, is purely depending on the culture that which has been for generations within the communities, and it became a law for them. That is the position.
They claim the objective of the Islamic law is to protect the dignity, health, wealth, and mental capabilities of individuals and the community as a whole.
Genital mutilation contravenes the essence and the directions of the objectives of the Islamic law, which are, among others, to protect the welfare of family, dignity, wealth, health, and the mental capability of individuals and the community as a whole.
They said many a times FGM practices have been blamed on Islam, and the general public takes it to be an Islamic practice, which is very wrong.
We as Muslim scholars strongly uphold that female genital mutilation has no basis in Islamic law, as contrary to the cultures and norms of the African communities and the pastoralists who practices the same.
They want the government, in collaboration with the anti-FGM board, to educate the community who practice FGM and try to remove the cultural viewpoint, which is hard to eradicate. For Channel 1 News Hour, I'm Emily K. Badi.
All right, from that story, the attack at Dobley, where 9 KDF soldiers were killed, actually 7 was put, and then another 2 succumbed to injuries.
Yes.
The president has sent his condolence message.
Indeed, President Uhuru Kenyatta has condoled with the families of the 9 KDF soldiers who were killed at Dobley early this morning.
The president, while describing the death as a big sacrifice for country and peace, says the KDF will remain in Somalia until the threat posed by Al-Shabaab is neutralized.
Now here is the president's message.
And may their souls rest in eternal peace.
Indeed, we do condole with the families.
Kericho County government has embarked on a repair of roads following heavy rains that rendered some parts of the roads impassable.
Now, the area governor, Paul Chepkonyi, says funds have been set aside towards construction of tarmac roads to ease transportation across the county.
Details of this and other stories in news making headlines in the counties.
Kericho County government is in the process of repairing roads following heavy rains that rendered some parts of the county inaccessible. Area Governor Paul Chepkonyi says already funds have been factored for the exercise and a number of tarmac roads will be constructed in the county. In Makueni County, the Department of Planning has rolled out a program to plant about 50,000 seedlings before the current rains end. Planning Principal Secretary Dr. Julius Moya says the initiative is geared towards the government's ambitious program of planting 1 billion trees. Elsewhere, a priest in Rapogi Parish has left his congregation in admiration after he moved away from the Catholic tradition of preaching. Father Paul Ogalo, who hit the social media recently over his unique style of preaching, led the entire mass in hip-hop music style to the astonishment of the congregation. The priest said he adopted the style to reach out mainly to majority youth who need a lot of spiritual nourishment.
It's the month of May, and the Holy Father's message and intention is that people may respond to their challenges with some degree of creativity. And therefore, we have the challenge of climate change, we have the challenge of poverty, we have the challenge of drug abuse that is taking a toll on the junior citizens and also tearing families apart. So it is very fitting that we try to help young people to understand what life is and also to use art to evangelize them.
Meanwhile, Chuka Igambangombe, Member of Parliament Patrick Munene, has expressed concerns over the increased number of drinking dens in the area, despite the ongoing fight against manufacturing and consumption of illicit brews. The legislator says authorities must act fast and ensure such mushrooming dens are shut down with immediate effect.
Pombe imerudi darakaditi kama ile wakati ya kitambo. And we want to put on notice wale watu wanauza pombe. Na tumekubaliana na governor, tumekubaliana na MCAs, tumekubaliana viongozi wote. Afadhali tupoteze kura nayo pombe isiuzwe huku kwetu vile inauzwa.
Elsewhere, Jomvu Member of Parliament Badi Twalib wants locals to take education of their children seriously if the rate of criminality in the area is to be tamed. Twalib claims either youth in the area are terrorizing locals and parents should purpose to ensure their children get education to better their future lives. The search of 4 bodies of people believed to have been swept away by Nziu River while on board a Salon car is still ongoing. The National Disaster Management Unit and the Kenya Red Cross have been on the site to try and locate the bodies swept away almost 3 weeks ago.
Tunataka tuyatoe maji, pakauke, ndiposa pia zile mashini za kuchimba mchanga ziweze kuchimba tuweze kuona kama tutapata huo mwili.
Finally, there was anger and disappointment at Githongori Stadium after a number of old people who had turned to register for the NHIF program were left stranded. The older citizens lamented that they had been taken for a ride by those concerned, calling on the government to intervene.
Away from the counties, let's now focus on what happened at the courts.
Kenya Power and Lighting Company and the Energy Regulatory Commission have been ordered to respond to claims of inflated electricity bills within 2 weeks.
Now, High Court Justice Chacha Mwita issued the orders in a case in which consumers are challenging the alleged irregular increment of electricity bills.
Then Chumba has the details.
The hearing of a suit against Kenya Power Company will be delayed after the electricity supplier failed to submit written submissions more than a month after they were required to do so. Lawyers representing KPLC sought for an adjournment to respond to the claims. Justice Chacha Mwita granted the adjournment and ordered the company and the Energy Regulatory Commission ERC to within 14 days respond to the claims. The directions coming amid a public outcry with the electricity supply on the spot for allegedly infringing on the rights of consumers through false and misleading representation in the electricity tariffs and bills. In January 2018, the High Court banned KPLC from sending customers inflated bills to cover a cost of 8.1 billion shillings. The electricity supplier, which has also been facing criticism over apparent inconsistencies in the way the units are charged, have since maintained that the firm will end contracts with third-party power vendors, admitting that it failed to adequately communicate to its customers over the billing systems. Ben Chumba reporting for Scales of Justice.
That would be a class action suit, Catherine, you would agree. Because
we are all
Kenyans have
consumers.
really suffered. Let's just admit it. Kenyans have really suffered. And you know how much you would actually, once you have your power bill or, you know, that thing in the house has started whipping, and then you run with your money on M-Pesa and try to buy tokens, and then what you get
it's
a
not
far cry.
Yeah, KPLC has a lot to answer to us.
A lot of it, and of course direct, or you know, us towards that line. What was happening exactly? What really was happening? Because you tell me, even if it is estimated bill, how would 1,000 shillings amount to 20 units?
There are a lot of taxes in there.
All right, time for us to take a breather. When we come back, Caroline Jenga is up next with business.
But before that, a quick reminder of our opinion poll question. Tonight, we are asking you what should be done to address the rising cases of familicide. What should be done to address the rising cases of familicide? That is killings within the family. 22162 is the SMS line. Let us know what you think. On Twitter at KBC Channel 1, my Twitter handle at Katwacheng, and of course for John at J Curia. Speak to us. We will be sampling your views later on in this broadcast.
Je, waweza fanya nini kwa dakika 4? Unaweza piga shift? Waweza pika ugali? Labda waweza fua nguo?